whether it's pills or pots or potions, actually, what makes you feel good? Human touch makes you feel good. Being touched by somebody. Somebody actually engaging with you, physically holding you, touching you. They're there. Everything will be okay. But when is touch appropriate? Well, there's a massage teach-a-thon for carers. It's taking place in Bristol today, and it's all part of the Pro-Touch Society. And if you think about it, touching people can be quite contentious. Gill is an ambassador for massage in the UK, and Debbie is from Easton. She's a carer for her 16-year-old daughter who has sight impairment. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, John.
Gill, let's just start with you, because touch is a very, very difficult thing. Friends and family, not a problem. Your own children, not a problem. You start touching other people, it starts to become a problem, doesn't it?
It can do, and that concerns me, to be honest. I think if you go to other societies, Mediterranean societies, Arabic societies, you'll see men and women touching each other in the street, men holding hands. I can't understand why we are so defended and defensive about touch in this country. I think it's something we need to do something about.
Is it something that is born out of trials pending, trials ongoing, and inappropriate touching? So that's inappropriate, so I know I won't touch anybody, therefore I can't be accused of a thing.
I think, yeah, it's very fear-based, definitely. And I think we have got to be concerned about inappropriate touch and abuse, absolutely. I was a foster carer and was very well versed in how to care appropriately. But I think abuse and that sort of thing is in the minority still. I think we're going to suffer if we become so fearful of being able to touch, for nurses to touch their patients in a caring way, for teachers to be able to touch their pupils in a caring and appropriate way. It concerns me, because
so that minority,
yes.
As I say, trials pending, trials happening, and what have you, and then you know, look at the whole Savile thing and what have you.
Completely, yeah.
That minority is destroying it for the majority.
That's my belief, definitely, and it concerns me because we're teaching children to be fearful of touching, and the research is showing that touching is vital for our well-being. There's all sorts of releases of hormones. There's one called oxytocin that gives us a sense of being nurtured and wanting to nurture. And if we're not releasing those hormones, what sort of society are we creating? We're not having that wanting to care for each other society.
Debbie, let's bring you in here, because you care for your daughter. She's 16. She's sight impaired. She's doing her GCSEs at the moment as well.
She is. She's in.
Couldn't get more stressful as a mum than that. Your daughter comes home, and does she talk about being touched?
No, we don't talk about that.
Have you ever had that conversation with your daughter about, well, this is appropriate, this is inappropriate? Have you ever defined it? Are you looking at me very strangely there? But I wonder whether you've ever had that conversation, because whether that's a conversation you felt you needed to have.
We have had those conversations, yes, but we've used massage in a way of just comforting and reassuring each other, and to relax we do it together and relax each other with it.
And this is about, obviously, you as a mum comforting and helping your child as she goes through being a 16-year-old. Never mind all the other things that she's going through at the moment.
From 0 to 16.
Yeah. Well, I know mothers are encouraged to massage their babies, and you know, parents not being able to touch their children. Freddie Starr talking about the fact that he couldn't cuddle his daughter whilst he was going through all the trauma that he's recently been through at the moment was the worst thing of all. But it's beyond that, isn't it, Gill? It's about nurses being able to touch patients. It's about me being able to touch you without you going, what are you doing, you strange man?
Yes, definitely. And, I mean, I'm a mother of 2, and I have a 6-year-old son, and, you know, he's falling over in the playground and not getting the loving touch that he needs to receive to be comforted. And so that's my concern, is from the childhood, what are we teaching the children, and what sort of society are we going to create if we're fearful of touch? There's research to show that 60% of societies where babies are carried on their backs for the first year in life, it's more likely to be a non-violent society. And I think we can start to look at other cultures and other societies and see where touch is just a norm. Asia, Middle East, Africa.
But this is about a general disconnection, isn't it? We don't touch people. You talk about babies there. Babies are put in pushchairs that the babies face away from the parent, not looking at the parent.
Yeah,
so the parent, the baby doesn't have any idea of what it's looking at this big wide world, all these people running around, doesn't look at its mum or its dad. Let me just ask you, Debbie, because you've got first-hand experience of this, and I know you're an advocate for it. But what did touching your daughter give you, and more importantly, your daughter with the sight impairment that she's got?
I just think it's been a really nice tool of communication, because, it's not just about talking, seeing, hearing, is it? The physical world is really important as well, and to feel comforted and to feel that someone is helping to ease your body to feel more relaxed is actually a gorgeous thing.
So this is communication, Gill.
Oh, completely. It's our first language. As soon as a baby is born, it should be put to the mother's breast and held, and that creates something called entrainment. The baby learns how to self-regulate by listening and training with its mother's heartbeat. And if children don't have that, so for example children that are taken away from their birth mothers and they don't get that, then they don't know how to self-manage, which means they don't know how to manage their stress levels. And we can see that if you don't manage your stress levels, that can escalate into aggression and anger and not being able to manage those sorts of emotions. So it starts very, very early on, and it builds up to a society that's just not at ease with itself.
It's a fascinating topic. We're out of time. I only have my own personal experience, recent experience of when I was doing the Bristol 10K, and I mentioned this yesterday. About 7 kilometres in, a man, I was walking at the time because I was in pain, and a man touched me on the back. He was wearing a pink T-shirt, and I did thank him on air yesterday. I don't know whether he was listening or not. He touched me on the back and said, "Come on, mate." And he ran with me just for a little bit, and then he ran off. But that made me, I lifted myself up. I remember, I lifted myself up, absolutely, and I did. And I did the same for somebody else, and she did the same as well. So I get what you're talking about today,
Great.
more than I probably would have last week. I actually get it. Now, this Bristol Massage Teachathon is happening today. It's at the Park Centre on Daventry Road, till 7 o'clock tonight. So if you're a carer, you can just, carer of a child or a parent or a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle or whoever you care for, you can just go along and find out what touch can do.
Yes, you can learn some techniques. You'll get to receive some massage as well. We have hourly slots.
So you can give and receive, then?
You can give and receive.
And hugs are great.
I'm all for hugs. I'm all for hugs. It's been fascinating talking to you. We'll get you in again, Debbie, and talk more about what you've been doing. Gill Tree, Ambassador for Massage in the UK. Debbie from Easton, thank you both for coming in this morning.
Thank you.